What's up, everybody? What's up, everybody? Adam here, your host with the Locks That Rocks. This is your official podcast of Rocklahoma, Surviving Rocklahoma. And we are coming at you live a couple of weeks after Rocklahoma ended. Now, before we continue the show, let's do a quick sound check. Do me a favor, y'all. Let me know how everything is coming through. How is the audio? Can you guys hear me okay? We are using a little bit of a different streaming platform this week. We are going to a more talk studio driven software as opposed to the normal streaming software that we have been doing for the last however many years. So with that being said, things are going to look a little bit different. Things are going to flow a little bit differently. Hopefully, I see that the sound is great. So now hopefully the video will stay caught up. The cool thing about this software is that the video is glitchy. Well, that is disappointing. However, we are going to go ahead and roll with it anyway because it's too late to change things. So this is going to be a more of a impromptu show. I would have liked to have had this episode good and laid out like I normally do. However, there are some things going on that is... it's better now. Good to know. Well, what I was going to say is we've got a lot of stuff to talk about this episode. We're going to be talking a little bit about our Rocklahoma experience from this past Rocklahoma 2023. We're also going to be talking about what's new going on with Surviving Rocklahoma. I myself have had... some stuff that we've been dealing with here on the home front, and unfortunately this is going to impact the podcast this week. But I don't want anyone to worry. I don't want anyone to have any concern as far as anything going forward or anything like that, because as long as we're alive and kicking, we're going to be a lot live and streaming. So without any further ado, I would like to go ahead and start paying homage a little bit to our sponsors so that we can crack open some beer and get our night started. Before we do that, I'm checking in with you all. How is everybody doing? Let me see if I can fix some of these widgets here. I love that I can have this live stream so that we can offer you guys more ways to connect with the show. And with this new live streaming software, probably starting next week or the week after, I will begin to allow video callers to call into the live stream so that we can take your phone calls and such to into the show. My do is do a do for him. Camp Pilk is in the house. What is up, Darren? Huge shout out to Darren. Thank you so much, Darren, for everything you've been doing for us with the campgrounds map. And we're actually going to be getting into that as well as the next evolution for the Surviving Rocklahoma map. So with all that being said, let's go ahead and get into our sponsors. First up, I want to give a huge shout out to DEB Concerts, who is always asking the question, what do you want to do with your life to proudly proclaim I want to rock? And rock he does, and rock he did at the DEB concert stage. And it was an amazing Rocklahoma 2023. Did you all notice the changes this year, especially at the Roadhouse? We got us a nice new covering that, and it was a lot less precarious around the supports. It held up way better. There was a lot more airflow. It was taller. The DEB concert stage fit in like a glove. And he had some amazing bands out there on the stage inside of the Roadhouse. Many of them found their way to the Surviving Rocklahoma booth inside of the media tent, and we are going to be bringing you a ton of those interviews. We got more interviews this year for Rocklahoma 2023 than we have ever gotten, and a huge part of that thanks goes to Doug of DEB Concerts. We'll be bringing you some of those interviews. Some of them are already live now, so folks, head on over to the YouTube channel and check out some of those interviews. We've got everything from some bands that you may not have heard of, but you absolutely loved and wanted to see more of, including Eyeball, Dead West, Bat Allison, Stonebreed, and others. We've got interviews from several of those already live on the YouTube. We've also got some names that I was very honored and impressed to get, and I've been chasing for quite some time, including Filter from Ashes to Anew. We met up with The Who again this year. We also sat down with Kix and several others. And I've also heard that Kelly and Slade did an RA job over there at DEB Concerts stage inside of the Roundhouse. Just kidding, Kelly. Excellent job. I heard so many compliments from those bands. You know what? I tell you what, studio audience, give it up. Yeah, they're not as quite the audience I had this Monday before last, whenever I had a real thing. I had the real live studio audience out there in the Rocklahoma campgrounds, and it was absolutely amazing. Christian says some of these these are some amazing pics popping up everywhere. Love it. And let's see what else. Who else is in the comments? Joseph Bliss says, was really nice. Could have done with some more fans in the inflow, but you know what? There was a lot more done this year. So with that being said, I'm glad to see everybody in the comments. You guys keep them all coming. I absolutely love that engagement. Next up, we also want to give a lot of love to somebody that was essential in those campgrounds, especially for my comfort. And I'm talking about the guys who kept us squatting in confidence all weekend long. I'm talking about Asher Service Rentals, your official supplier of portable restrooms for Rocklahoma. And not only could you get your own portable restroom for Rocklahoma, but you also was able to get your own portable swimming pool as well. And I don't know about you guys, but I fully took advantage of that swimming pool. I used it every day I was out there. Those vans just was not built to walk 10 plus miles a day. So when my feet were absolutely killing me, I'd get back to camp, throw my feet in the water, be glad there wasn't any fish to die from the smell. But they really took hours off my day. Now, remember, folks, At Your Service Rentals is also servicing Born and Raised Music Festival this week. So if my country brothers and sisters are out there in Pryor, Oklahoma, in that pasture, setting up camp, and they're like, man, I'm in a tent. I don't want to be walking down to the restroom at 6 a.m. to go poop. I think I want my own portable restroom. Well, don't do like the other guy that's waiting in line to use the bathroom. Hey, buddy, what are you doing over there?
Dinner was full.
Yeah, he didn't call At Your Service Rentals. Don't be like that guy. You can do it. AtYourServiceRentals.com. Be sure to reserve your portable restroom facilities while you still can. Alrighty, we are moving right along, folks. I also want to give a huge shout out to one of our other proud sponsors. But you know what? I'm not going to do it. How about you do it for me? I got a special guest that we're going to hear a little bit from later on, and he wanted to give a little special messages to one of my sponsors and everybody that they represent. Let me give it to you, TV and radio's Richard Patrick.
Rocklahoma, bitches.
That's right. That was Filter's Richard Patrick, who was proud. It took us 2 takes. He absolutely loved saying that so much. So Richard Patrick right there with the assist with the Rocklahoma bitches, one of our proud sponsors of Rocklahoma. Now, or Surviving Rocklahoma, excuse me, the official podcast of Rocklahoma. Also want to give a huge shout out to Scene Queen Graphics and Stigler Printing, who was there in an absolute clutch this year at Rocklahoma, facilitating branding and imagery for over 36 camps that was out there wanting their own logo and identity and some printing needs, for banners and the selfie frames and such. Well, not only did Stigler Printing just make some amazing quality prints, but they also had some great artistic help from Scene Queen Graphics, who rendered several camps with some pretty sweet logos, if I may say so myself. Get back here into the comments, excuse me. Adam is wearing my fave BNRT. Yes. It's bittersweet. I had to wear it today. I gotta represent. With that being said, that just leaves a couple more guys. Also want to give a huge shout out to Camp Rockavet. Well, they're not even just a camp anymore. To Rockavet, who facilitated over 2 dozen 2 dozen passes to VIP, or 2 dozen passes to Rocklahoma 2023, and they've been giving so much more for so long because at Rockavet, they believe music is medicine. And this is also a sentiment that many of the artists I encountered in the media tent also echoed and very much appreciated. You can catch all of their shout outs and thank yous to the troops by visiting Rockavet on Facebook. Join that Facebook group. You'll get to see a lot of these artists that I got to sit down with as they also pay their thanks and their well wishes to our veterans. You can also check the full interviews of all of the interviews that I've conducted at Rocklahoma 2023 by checking out the Facebook page, the YouTube channel. With that being said, that brings us to our final sponsor, y'all, and I want to give a huge shout out to Prior Liquors, who went above and beyond to work with all of the camps, or many of the campers, I should say, at Rocklahoma, as well as getting into the Rocklahoma family. Monty and crew they've just been essential for so many people, and that they are keeping this podcast fueled, and we're going to get some lubrication for my tongue here so I'm not all tongue-tied the entire show. So I'm going to be drink at the suggestion of one of my best friends and a human Christmas tree. I was strongly recommended that I partake of some Lost Lake Pilsner. Now, this week's Cheers and every Cheers is brought to you by Prior Liquors and Prior. Be sure you stop off and sign the wall. But let's go ahead and kick this show off like we do each and every week and pop open a top. So without any further ado, cheers, everybody. Alrighty. Oh my gosh, that Christmas tree was right. He knows a good beer when he sees one. Oh, and special shout out to the Christmas tree guy and your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, as these two have did a toy drive this year at Rocklahoma, and they have surpassed their own forecasts for toys donated for Toys for Tots through their campsite. And I even hear that a special certain little band was a piece of that as well. So to all the bands, fans, and everybody in between that helped donate a toy to for the toy drive at Camp 'Tis the Season, I can't tell you guys how much that's going to mean to a lot of little kids. So speaking of, we're going to be talking a little bit about Rocklahoma 2023, and I'm going to get into some coverage here in a little bit, including some of the first images that are coming out from photography by Angel Lee, as she was able to capture the spirit of Rocklahoma, and she was also with me inside the media tent. So we got a lot of great images during those interviews, and some of these legendary musicians signing these guitars that we ended up giving away as grand prizes for the Rocklahoma scavenger hunt. And even more yet, we got a little special something. I haven't even seen what was sent to me. Hopefully the videos play through, because I didn't want to spoil my own surprise. But Justin Hoppy has given me some videos to share tonight. Sorry, I got some messages blowing me up. There we go. I tell you what. Now I do know that these cats played a big part on getting us some donations to Camp 'Tis the Season, and they were just some of the most amazing people I've met this year. And they don't hide that they're a party band, guys. These guys are everything rock and roll is all about. And to make them that much more fun, they're from down under. So I finally got to hang out and party all weekend with just a fun-loving band of Aussies. Ladies and gentlemen, Snakebite Whiskey.
Welcome
Alrighty, everybody. That was Snake Bite Whiskey. I was so fortunate to sit down with them for, a good 15, 20 minutes, as was the case for a lot of artists at Rocklahoma this past year. And we were able to sit down and capture a lot of interviews. We met with some up-and-comers, some mid-cards, some of the long established artists that have been around for years and years and years. And it was an honor in every single encounter because I was able to ask roughly the same questions of most of my guests that were roughly the same, because I intentionally did that because I wanted to see where everyone else's journey has taken them. Now, some folks, they had a whole lot to tell. And then some other folks, they cherish every performance, and every performance is something on its own. And you would not believe how humble some of these folks are, regardless of their experience, age, or tenure. One of those folks that strives for a certain caliber of performance every time they perform, and they just really do care about the fans, is one of the folks that I was fortunate enough to sit with and interview this year at Rocklahoma. And you can catch this interview and all of the rest on my YouTube channel. There's still more to drop. But this is Richard Patrick of Filter. I am Adam Richmond, your host with the Locks That Rocks, and this is the official podcast of Rocklahoma Music Festival, Surviving Rocklahoma. I am joined by Richard Patrick of Filter. What's up, man?
Yes! How are you? It's good to be here.
I am fantastic. Sir, I have been following your music for many, many years. Can you tell me a little bit about playing a Rocklahoma stage?
You got to bring your best, and you have to be in shape because it is hot. And we played Rocklahoma a couple years ago, and we were really not ready for the heat, and I ran out of breath mid-song and couldn't hit the high notes, and I feel awful because they said some mean things to me on Facebook. So I'm all about making sure that I have the wind to be able to really, really bring it as a singer.
So you got pressure. You feel like you got pressure now coming.
But the great news is I've been out on this tour called Freaks on Parade with Rob Zombie, Alice Cooper, and Ministry, and we are in shape. We are ready to go. I am certain that we will have an amazing show today.
How do you prepare for something like that? You mentioned being in shape. What do you do for yourself to condition yourself to have
play? Get out there and sing and play, and make sure that you're constantly playing new concerts every night.
Right. Yeah. Do you have any memorable shows from the road this current tour?
Oh my God! Well, we just played in Chicago at Tinley Park, and it was amazing. I mean, 17,000 people were there. Everybody's all in to see Filter, so the crowd isn't stumbling in when we're playing. The crowd is there, and we are just grateful to have everybody's attention because we are the opener, so we want to make sure people get a chance to come early and see us, and they are, and we are just absolutely over the moon because it is an amazing bill. Rob Zombie, Alice Cooper, Ministry, Filter. It is insane.
And you guys have, I mean, that bill has multiple different speeds
Yeah.
of music. I mean, we've got the House of the Thousand Corpses, that is
Yeah.
Rob Zombie.
Yeah.
We've got more of that industrial feel out of Ministry.
Yeah.
And we've got, I mean, the staple of the 90s, the grunge. And I mean, oh my gosh, Filter. Tell me a little bit about standing out as a band amid that build where everything's so different.
My job is to be the best singer I can possibly be, because that is the thing that, you know, divides everybody. You know, Al Jorgensen is industrial, in my opinion. I mean, he was the guy that brought industrial to me when I was a young kid. I mean, when I heard Land of Rape and Honey, it was over. I discovered a whole new world of music from Al Jorgensen. You know, the showmanship of Rob Zombie is he is such an amazing. He's industrial too, I think, but he's a living comic book character. I mean, he is so cool. It is such a high level of production, and of course the legendary Alice Cooper. So, you know, and all of what Alice Cooper has brought to music over the. So you're getting all of that. So it is an amazing tour.
Can you tell me a little bit about what's going on in your mind when you take stage and you want to have that stage presence and command the audience?
You just got to own it.
Own it.
You have to when you come out and perform, you have to literally own it. You have to feel like, you know, this is why I was put on earth, you know, is to lead these people into some entertainment, to give them a great time.
Right.
And I've been lucky because it's been working for the past couple months.
Oh yeah. So tell me, what are you guys? What's on your plate right now? What do you got going on?
What's on my plate? I'm literally going to go back to my bus, start doing warm-ups, and I go on at like 4:10.
Right.
So I'm up in an hour. I got to get ready.
Yeah. Yeah. Hope you're hydrating, putting that sunscreen
A lot
on.
of hydrations.
Tell me a little bit. What do we expect to see from Filter next? What's on the horizon after your performance here at Rocklahoma?
We just put a brand new record out called The Algorithm, which just came out August 25th. And it is the latest and greatest of what we are as a band. 11 songs. It's the best record. I'm straight up telling you, it's the best record since like Short Bus Title of Record and Amalgamate.
Wow.
And it is absolutely, you have to listen to it. Your listeners have to listen to and we're playing unapologetically 4 songs right off the bat from the record. And we're excited about it. So, yeah.
So once we listen to this amazing album, is there something that you would like for us to have as a takeaway once we're done with that last track?
I just want everyone to get along. I want everyone to I want the division in this country to subside. I want liars to be exposed. I want the truth to be found. And I want everyone to just get over it and get back to being awesome and stop with this whiny bullshit that's going on all over the place.
Absolutely. I love it. I know you got a busy schedule, and you're going to be on that hot griddle of a stage not too long. I like to wrap up every interview by giving my guests the ability to address their fans, the folks that are about to see you when you take stage. This is your moment to look them in the eyes and say, hey, the stage is yours.
This is Richard Patrick from Filter, and we want you to know that we love you and that we are excited to bring our music to you. Thank you so much for having us. We are eternally grateful. You've given me an amazing life. I've been doing this for 30 years, and I've had an amazing time doing it. Bless you. Thank you for giving me this amazing life, and I love you tremendously.
That's for Richard.
I'll get you in the feels. You're not careful.
I'm choked up as it is, but I'm still the host with the locks that rocks, Adam Richmond, and this is Surviving Rocklahoma. And that was Richard Patrick of Filter. They've been around for over 30 years, man. And that's a huge part of my childhood. And listening to him talk about, how he views being on the bill with his band amongst all the other names that you and I may consider, all on the same level. It's just, it never ceases to amaze me. It doesn't matter how long an artist has been doing this. It doesn't matter if it's their first interview or their 3,000th interview. There's certain things that every single artist does, and I absolutely love it. And it's one of my favorite parts of doing interviews. And Richard Patrick was a class act. He was so much fun to interview. And we've got more images of that interview and more courtesy of photography by Angel Lee. And I wanted to give a shout out to my girl as well as some other folks that I worked with this past Rocklahoma, and here are some of the first images that have been dropping from photography by Angel Lee. If I can get right there, we go. Now, let me fix this. That's not what you want to see. There we go. Alrighty, so this is one of the first that was Richard Patrick. Once again, these images were captured by photography by Angel Lee, who did an amazing job for me this year at, yes, like Richard says, absolutely, he was happy. And he was just such a class act. These images and a whole lot more will be available on Photography by Angel Lee's website. We've also had a very special thing come across this year at Rocklahoma, something that I knew was going on last year in the campgrounds. I wasn't really able to be a part of it in that I didn't really know what I could contribute to the scavenger hunt. But last year, or this year, the opportunity presented itself for me to share part of this experience that you guys have put me on. You see, I've been doing this show for several years now, and it is something that I absolutely love doing. This is something I do each and every week. I come here and I talk with all of my friends about music. I talk about my favorite festival and what it means to me. And I got to see a lot of folks that it means the same thing to them for a lot of different reasons. And last year we gave our guitars away, or well, I should say this year. We gave our guitars away at Sparrowhawk Camp at Rock the River. And I sat on these guitars for what felt to me like an unacceptable amount of time. Last year, the idea was presented to me to have a couple of guitars that I'm getting signed by everybody that I've encountered. All the interviews, all the artists I got to meet and network with. And Angel and I got those signed, and Angel got several of those signatures on her own last year, just like she did this year. And this year we decided, instead of me sitting on these guitars for months, that we would award them to a couple of folks that would literally, let's just call it for what it is. They worked their asses off. They combed the Rocklahoma Festival property, the campgrounds, attaining objectives, getting pictures of certain targets. Now, this was an open contest. Anybody could do this. But these two individuals, I mean, they just took it to another level. And they were able to go out and capture more than anybody. Now, there was a surprise winner and one winner that wasn't so much a surprise to me. And thankfully, Angel, and on top of her busy schedule shooting all of these amazing bands, was able to also capture the moment as I was able to share a part of what you guys, this lifestyle that you guys afford me. Now, these are the two guitars that we got signed by all the folks that I encountered in the Rocklahoma campgrounds tent, as well as she's got a couple herself without any assistance from me, including Mothica. So when you see Mothica on there, that one is purely Angel. I wasn't even in the media tent, so you could not have missed that amazing red dress that she was wearing. Now, so Daniel Whitmus and Shannon Spencer won these guitars, and Daniel, being the gentleman that he is, offered the selection of which guitar she would pick to Shannon, who was our first time Rocklahoma, or this was her first time at Rocklahoma, and she worked very, very hard on getting all of the objectives to qualify and to win this contest. There's Justin Hoppy behind that booth with me. This was my desk at Rocklahoma. Now, I was very fortunate, and what made this photo here, and even Angel doesn't know what this means to me. So I was able to give this experience back, and I give every now and then I give a tour when I'm able to share what I do with some of my friends, and it's becoming known as the tour. And every time I get choked up about it. So what I did for these folks, after they won their guitar, unbeknownst to them, I showed up to a campsite where they had gathered, and I let them know that they are my winners, and how much I appreciate the support that everybody at Rocklahoma does for this podcast. And so I was able to give them a very quick and exclusive tour and trip to my desk so that they could see and experience Rocklahoma the way I experience it. So they were able to come and visit me at work for ever so briefly, as I ended up getting caught into in a couple of interviews while they were out there waiting for me. So I was so glad to be able to take them on Willy Wonka's gondola ride, as I showed them a side of Rocklahoma that no one else gets to see. And they were so grateful and happy to have these. Thank you so much, Angel, for capturing these images and doing the work for me that you do at this and past Rocklahoma, and as well as this past year at Rock the River and Rock Island, and who knows what else we got coming on. We got Rock the Equinox coming up here in another month or so. But they were absolutely happy. Now, I also had a couple of folks. I had Justin do me a favor, and I hope Angel is still in the comments with me, because I haven't watched these videos, and I would like for her to see these too, because I've got a couple of special messages from some folks who wanted to say a couple of words about these guitars. And first up is your winner and still champion, one of them, of the Rocklahoma 2022 scavenger hunt. Here's Daniel Whitmus.
All right, per the quest of hobby, here's a little video about the Rocklahoma experience this year. It was pretty awesome for me and my wife, Melissa. We got to hit a lot of parties. Of course, we spent some time at the bus, but we got to hit a lot of the parties, a lot of the events. it was great, you know, getting to spend that extra time with some friends that we normally don't get to. We just get to see in passing. So that was really good this year. We also brought, 3 Rockla virgins this year, so that was cool, getting to kind of show them around and let them do their own thing and experience Rocklahoma. Let's just get to it, the scavenger hunt. That's what we're about to hear about a little bit. I worked hard enough, I guess, and brought it out at the last minute with the help of my wife and a catch-a-ride driver, to be able to win the first place guitar. And it really does mean a lot to me and Melissa. We worked on it together. It's something that we do since last year. It was awesome because we were able to get away and spend that time with each other and doing that. And he gave us a little activity to do like that was ours, and we embraced it again this year. But once she found out that the Hugh was going to sign it, it brought on its whole new beast for her even. So it was really cool to watch it bring us even closer together and have a reason to spend more time together into the early mornings running around the camp. But the guitar itself is really awesome. I mean, I was definitely trying to win last year's guitar that wasn't for the vets, which we weren't lucky enough to get that one, but we earned this one, and it's going to go on the wall, and we're going to tell many stories about it. And she already said she gets it in the divorce, so so I stay with her if I want to keep it. But with that said, thanks, Hoppy, and the scavenger hunt, the whole idea, keep it up. It's a great idea. It really brought a lot of people out of their shells this year. Thanks to Surviving Rocklahoma and Adam and Rebel. You guys do amazing. Adam, we're so proud of you. You keep up the good work. And hey, thanks for the opportunity again. Thanks for that awesome trip backstage. That was just cool, man. I mean, I'm gonna be telling that story forever. So there you guys have it, man. We'll see y'all next year.
You're very welcome, Daniel. Thank you so much. And so that was Daniel. He's been doing Rocklahoma for years, and he went all out not only this year but last year. And I was so glad to see him win one of the guitars. But the only thing that made me even more happy in terms of seeing somebody win a guitar was someone winning one that this was their first year, like Shannon Spencer.
Hi. Rocklahoma. What can I say? I thought I was going away for a long weekend with friends, listen to some music, eat some food, hang out, have a drink or two, let my hair down, forget about life and work. And that happened. But nothing that they told me could prepare me for the actual Rocklahoma experience. And nothing I tell you can prepare you for Rocklahoma experience. I'm Shannon, and I'm a 2023 Rockla virgin. I know nothing about music. I like music, but I cannot tell you one artist from another versus who sings the song or the words to the song. I can't tell you what Blondie sang versus AC/DC or Warrant or Pantera. I just know I like music. So the entire weekend was amazing. From the moment I got up to the moment I went to bed, there was always something going on. The people were very friendly and outgoing, and welcoming is the best way to describe it. And everybody, it was a very family-oriented atmosphere. If we had people staying with us in our camp that we didn't know, that we met at Rocklahoma, that day. But one of the things that I really enjoyed was the scavenger hunt, because I got to go meet people and see their campsites and how they had set up and find out how long they've been attending. And the scavenger hunt, I was very fortunate that in all of my outings, I was able to get enough entries that I walked away with second place. This amazing guitar signed by artists that performed at Rocklahoma 2023. I have no idea who all has signed it. I haven't had time to sit down and look at each name and signature. But I can tell you that this is something that I will cherish and remember. And my kids are fighting over it, and my friends are fighting over it. I'm Shannon, and I'm a Rockla virgin. And until 2024, when you experience your first Rocklahoma, rock on.
Thank you so much, Shannon, and Daniel as well, are two winners of the Rocklahoma 2023 scavenger hunt. This scavenger hunt was organized by Justin Hoppy, aka the Flamingo, one half of Camp Flocking Nightmare, who's also helped by Fallon, who's also been essential in the campgrounds for a lot of different projects, including another project that is been extremely near and dear to my heart, which was the Rocklahoma campgrounds map, which played a huge part into the scavenger hunt. And I absolutely love doing this. I'm going to do it again next year. And hopefully we have such an amazing, great turnout this second year that they've done it. They're already going back to the drawing board, folks, looking at next year and seeing what next year's is going to look like. So be back next year for the Rocklahoma scavenger hunt. It's something we do in the campgrounds. Well, I should say something they do in the campgrounds. And this was a unique opportunity for me to be able to share the spoils of this blessed life that I'm fortunate to live with some folks who truly earned a peek at it. So I'm so glad to be able to be part of the scavenger hunt. Thank you so much, Justin, for allowing me to participate and to award your winners with a once-in-a-lifetime experience. All right, looking into the comments. We'll be there next year. I hope I can be in the same place. Big Shot Porch. Thanks for letting the Grinch being a judge for your contest. Shannon Spencer bought a Rock Virgin shirt. Good to see. Good to know. Now, I was starting to talk a little bit about the Rocklahoma campgrounds map. Now, the reason we're talking about that is we were supposed to do a best campsite contest. And because Rocklahoma is unpredictable in the campgrounds as it is, it's really hard sometimes to maintain a... hold on one second. Sorry, folks. Gotta answer this real quick. All right, sorry about that. And anyway, so yeah, we've been doing this campgrounds map for quite some time, and I've been doing it for 5 or 6 years. Several years ago, I decided, you know what, a lot of folks go all out, so let's do a campsite contest. And in years past, I just started a poll on Facebook, and everybody voted. We had Camp Morningwood won 1 year. Camp Corruption, I believe, won 1 year. Also, well, I know Big Old Bus won 2 years back to back. And so we wanted to spice things up this year. We wanted to make this year a little bit more open. We're trying new things now. Before anybody enters or tries to vote in the best campsite contest. First of all, guys, it's not perfect. We know this. It's not the best way to do this. We know this as well. We tried one way and it didn't work out this over the course of Rocklahoma because, let's just face it, everybody was distracted. There's too much going on. The cell phone signal wasn't what we would have wanted it to be. So what we are going to do is the voting for the best campsite contest of Rocklahoma 2023 is now reopened as of this minute. So whenever you finish up this live stream, head on over to survivingrocklahoma.com and click on the Rocklahoma Campgrounds map. When you do, this will bring up the map you know and love. You're used to it. Now, everybody who got their names listed on the Rocklahoma Campgrounds map, there was also a part of that form where you could opt in to the best campsite contest. Now, this was on the form. Everybody filled out the same form. I understand not everyone reads every part of the form, and if your site is not listed on the best campsite contest ballot, I do apologize, and I wish I could add it, but in the interest of fairness, there were hundreds of people who completed the form correctly, and of those hundreds that completed the forms correctly, these were the nominations or what the camps who wanted to participate in it. So what's listed, that's your options this year. Now, if your camp is not listed or a camp you wanted to nominate is not listed, I apologize. Better luck next year. Just know that there's no big prizes. I'm broke this year, folks. I don't have anything to offer you. This is just bragging rights, and this is just something fun we're doing. So it's all in the interest of fun. You're not competing for anything like major or grand. However, if you went all out, you wanted to have a good time, you did up your campsite, or you hosted people or whatever, and you were listed on the map, and you would like, to throw your name in the hat to see, who was everybody's best campsite. Go to the survivingrocklahoma.com, click on the Rocklahoma Campgrounds map, and then you can then see the list of camps that opted in to the Rocklahoma Best Campsite Contest. Now, if you emailed me after the fact or emailed Darren after the fact or whatever so that you get listed on the map and you went around the process, if you're not on there, I'm sorry. That's what happens when you don't follow the process. Well, there's a process for a reason. So remember, folks, this is just something we did in fun. We're doing it for free. We're doing it out of our own time. If you think you could do better with the campgrounds contest, I invite you to try. I just did it because no one else was. So hopefully everybody can have fun with it for what it is and just be satisfied with what you got. Because we did it with love, right? So we cooked you dinner, so let's not hear you complain about the dinner. Just shut up and eat it. And you'll like it too. Alrighty, folks. With that being said, we are rounding out this first hour, and we got a couple of other things to talk about, and I'm just not quite sure of how I want to segue into everything. So this next hour is going to be, we're going to be switching to a little bit more of a Red Dirt. Now, I don't have any Red Dirt music to play. I got a guest that I'm going to want to have joining in here a little bit later. And I've got something that we've really got to talk about before we switch gears into the show. So I tell you what we're going to do is I'm going to give you another taste of Rocklahoma 2023. I'm going to feature another band that I was fortunate to set with in the Rocklahoma media tent this past year. You can find the interview coming up later on this week as I get more released to the YouTube channel. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Small Town Syndrome. Alrighty, folks, and that was Small Town Syndrome, another Rocklahoma 2023 artist. We sat down with them in the media tent. The full interview will be dropping to YouTube at some point this week. I can't really give y'all specifics right now. It's a crazy week, and that's kind of the next part of this tonight's live stream, and we're going to go ahead and bite the bullet and go ahead and make the announcement that I need to make. And first and foremost up, everything's okay. I'm not going anywhere. Surviving Rocklahoma is not going anywhere. However, as you all know, I was very much looking forward to covering Born and Raised Music Festival this week. It's something I've been looking forward to for a long time, as I've been itching to break out from not just Rocklahoma and rock music in general, but also pay homage to my red dirt country roots. This week was going to be one of the first steps towards that, but I spent the day with doctors today, and like many folks, you know, we all got sick last week, and for various reasons. And it's not me getting sick wasn't part of where I'm at now. However, it's a particular. It's a contributing factor, and I've been dealing with Meniere's disease for about 25 years, and Meniere's disease was one of the reasons why I first started coming to Rocklahoma 10 years ago. I was told that I'm going to be going deaf and that I would ultimately lose my hearing. Meniere's disease is a condition that affects your inner ear, your vestibular system, and I get really bad attacks of vertigo and dizziness and stuff. So it's why I had to retire from a stable and successful job in IT, working for a tribal government for 10 years. And so I had to retire from that last year, and unfortunately was forced to go on disability, as it's made it extremely difficult to work because I never know how the condition's going to be affecting me. Fortunately, this podcast has allowed me to be able to do all of the things I love to do for an hour a week. You know, you can pull it all together. And 10 years ago, whenever I found out that I would indeed be losing my hearing to my wife, from my wife's suggestions, I attended Rocklahoma for the first time. And the thought process was seeing as many bands as I could before I couldn't hear them anymore. And unfortunately, that day has come. As of right now, I've lost my hearing, and I haven't heard anything in over a week. So that obviously makes doing a lot of things difficult as far as podcasting and such, because, you know, I always joke about being the wish.com Tony Stark, because I'm able to make things work, and I have transcribers built in, and this is how I do my interviews. This is how I function, is I make technology work around my limitations. However, I haven't heard a human voice in over a week, and now is the time where I don't know if it's going to come back or not. So depending on how things pan out in the next couple of weeks, I'll know whether or not I will be permanently deaf or not. And for those of you who are wondering, yes, there's things that can be done, and I'm putting in for, you know, I'm in the approval process for cochlear implants. That's something we're waiting on. We had hoped that we'd have them in place before my remaining hearing had failed, but this is kind of where we're at. And because of that, unfortunately, socializing and networking has become extremely difficult, if not impossible at the moment. So with a heavy heart, I literally stalled until the last minute today, until I finally had to make the call, because I was trying to figure out a way that I'd be able to make this work. But I'm not going to be able to attend Born and Raised Music Festival this week. So Surviving Rocklahoma is not going anywhere. We're still here. I got to get a couple more things in place before I can continue to do what I did at Rocklahoma. And I've got an amazing team that I've been building. Christy Gross has been begging for years to be more a part and let me take advantage of friends who are here to help. And I've invited Rebel Angel last year to join the team, and she has shown me more than anybody how much I've got to let myself allow folks to help. And so I'm being so not being so protective of this this project that you guys have given power to, and I'm bringing in team members. So I've got a couple of assistants that's going to be helping me going forward. I'm probably going to be bringing in somebody that's going to help me interpret and act as a handler, so to speak, so I can have a personal assistant, so we're able to function. So. But just like I've told my daughter whenever she had her sports injury recently, and anytime any of my kids have been afraid to continue when things get hard, we don't give up. That's just not what we do. So there's a lot of people out there that's got things way worse than we do. And so if we're still alive and kicking, then we're going to be doing our thing, and nobody's going to stop us. So if I wasn't going to let people not hiring me stop me from making a podcast, I'm not going to let a little thing like not being able to hear somebody stop me from connecting you all with the music. So in that spirit, the show's going to keep going on regardless of where my audio levels are at. Now I've got the tools, I've got the friends, I've got the connections. We can do this, folks. And sometimes it just takes a village to raise a child, and that's the case here. So this is not just my baby. This is all of our babies. Surviving Rocklahoma is going to keep going, loud, local, and live. So now you guys know what's going on. That's what I'm dealing with, and that's what the show's kind of running into. So for that reason, we have pulled out of Born and Raised Music Festival. However, we are still going to cover it. We're still going to talk to some folks that are going to be facilitating your good time at this music festival this week. And we definitely are going to be at Rock the Equinox. It's a free festival this coming up at the end of September. So without any further ado, let me go ahead and let my guest know that it's time for her to go ahead and chime in. Go ahead and call it in when you're ready. All right. Let's go back to the comments real quick. This was my first Rocklahoma. I pulled Hop to the side and asked him to introduce me to you, all struck after watching you. Thank you. Thank you so much, David. That's awesome. I love the support, guys. And oh my gosh, and there is our special guest. I want to introduce y'all to somebody. Let me get her in on the line so she knows that we can see her. I want to introduce somebody very special. I met her a couple of years ago. Crystal, can you hear me okay?
I sure can.
And I can hear you wonderful. Well, I can see you anyway. So I want to thank you so much for everything you do. Now, I know you're not somebody that always tends to be out in front and in front of the limelight and say, hey, guess what? Check this out. But hey, guess what? Check this out. This is one of your hosts from the biggest campsite that I have personally seen at Born and Raised Music Festival. Now, you Rocklahoma friends and family that wonder if those country folk can keep up with us. Well, if anybody is going to be one of the members that can prove that they can, it's going to be Crystal and crew at Can't Fuck Around and Find Out. How's it going, Crystal?
No, I'm doing good tonight. Thanks for having me on your show.
Absolutely. I'm so glad that you were able to make some time for us and call in. Can you tell me a little bit about your first experience at Born and Raised Country Music Festival?
So this is our third year that we're going to attend. Our first year, we didn't really know what to expect. I think it was actually Born and Raised's first year since COVID was canceled the first year. So we came, we saw the first night, we had our music up pretty loud. That's when we met you. And we didn't have a theme. We didn't really have a camp name. We just stayed up all night, and we had arm wrestling the first night, I think. We had a couple people come over and play guitar. It was pretty awesome. At that time, we had just, we're new to Oklahoma. I had actually never been to Oklahoma, and the people were awesome. Everybody we met was awesome. I think the show was put on really well. The staff was great. The artists were phenomenal. I think the setup of Rocklahoma is top notch.
Amazing. So at what point did you look around and say, you know what, this place is fine, but it's quiet?
That's right.
It's
We only had 2 campsites at that time. And so we were like, you know what, next year we're going to bring it. So we had some more tag-alongs because we had such a great time the first year. We had a bunch of people that wanted to tag along with us the next year. We came up with our camp name. We made banners. We had a friend that constructed a stripper pole. And then I was like, hey, I feel like we need a wet t-shirt contest. So then we started advertising that we were going to have our wet t-shirt contest. We didn't actually know what to expect. Susan, my co-pilot, she helped me make sashes for the girls, and the guys, of course, had a lot to do with it because they're all for it. And then we made what we call our titty tarp. So we have a tarp you can come by, and we paint your boobies down with some paint, and you stamp them on the tarp, and you get to sign them. So we only brought a small tarp last year, and we actually ran out of room on both sides, and people were coming by like the last day too. I need to get my name on there. So it was a very girl-friendly thing. Everybody was wanting to participate. When we had our wet t-shirt contest, we just told everybody after the show. So we're dilly-dallying around after the show, talking to people, visiting, taking our time, stumbling back to camp. And we get there, and there are hundreds of people at our camp waiting for us. We're like, oh my gosh, we were not expecting this. They were just like mobs of people all over the camp, into the street. But it turned out to be a really great event. For us, we weren't expecting that many people. So we have a few things that we're going to put in place this year so that it's not too overcrowding, because everybody wants to be in the middle and see. So we actually got a sound system this year with louder sound. We have 8 campsites. There is somebody that's squished right next to us. So we're row 4, 49. Somebody got 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56. And then we have like the open walkway. So turns out anybody that's on the rows with the sites 55 and 56 actually have big sites. So we're going to have a grand old time this time. I think we're very prepared. We made some t-shirts and we have lots of extra lights, more sound. Prior Liquors is sponsoring us. They've made quite a large donation to our camp. So Monty is putting it up for us this year. Yeah. So make sure you stop by on the way in. I have to give them a shout out, right? Because they do Rocklahoma, like you can sign their deep freeze and they do a really great job. So make sure that if you're going to Born and Raised, that you stop into Prior Liquors, put your signature on their deep freeze. They have some paint pens and stuff so you can make your mark for that year.
Be sure you take some pictures, folks, while you're getting you're signing that cooler door, because there's a certain little logo over there that represents this podcast over there, and they've even updated it for Born and Raised. And I want to give a huge shout out once again to Rebel Angel of Photography by Angel Lee for helping out with this year's Tribal Skull logo that is all the rage. And by the way, I know the country folk may not know, be as familiar with From Ashes to Anew, but my logo's tattooed on somebody's arm, and that's forever.
Yeah, it is. Hey, it's a
So,
pretty cool design. I'm gonna have to say whoever draws it on the freezer is pretty talented.
amen
Yeah.
to Crystal. We're speaking to Crystal of Camp Fuck Around and Find Out. They throw this massive party at Born and Raised Country Music Festival. You've been doing it what 3 years now? Is that correct? This will be your third year. Did you? Last year you went bigger. I mean, there's just no other way around it. Rearranged, the layout was different. Can you tell me a little bit about? Did you think you were ready for what you got last year versus the year before? I mean, you always project what you think, and I'm always like the person. I was like, oh, I'm going to invite everybody. Nobody's going to show.
It does kind of feel that. The first year we thought that, I was like, what if nobody comes? And I'm telling you, when we showed up to the camp after the show and there was all these people waiting for us, we were like, oh my gosh, we did not expect this. So, and it was great. The crowd was great. Everybody was really respectful, because we have to protect everybody that's participating. So this year we're going to have a little bit of fencing set up. We have our campers in a horseshoe shape to have kind of the middle area with a stripper pole, and our bar and, all the sound system and everything and the lights. So it'll be bigger this year for sure. People are talking about it. People know our camp name now. So and every time somebody asks in the group page, they're like, where do we go? Who do we see? And they're like, you got to go to this camp. They're awesome people. So please come by, say hi. I know that I'm so like girl power kind of, I like to make new friends. If you'd like, we're doing a jean chaps day along with the wet t-shirt. So if you bring a pair of old jeans, I'll cut them into some chaps and you can wear fishnets under them, your bikini, thong, boy shorts, whatever. I know a bunch of girls are bringing their chaps over. I got some brand new scissors, so we'll cut them out so we can all match.
That is genius.
Yeah, it'll be good.
Yes. Okay, so there's so many of us Rocklahoma people. We're used to like stuff that would make people in Las Vegas kind of wild over there. We're like the redneck Burning Man.
There you go.
Now, have you been to Rocklahoma yet?
I have not. It's so close together. I don't think we can do both. You have to take off like a week of work afterwards and like recuperate. I always come back from Born and Raised with PGV. Do you know what that is? Party girl voice. Party girl.
That's what I'm dealing with right now.
Yeah, you have some PGV right now. So it takes some recovering, and they're pretty close together. I don't think I could do both, but it does look like an awesome crowd. They're wild. I feel like everybody looks just as friendly and welcoming. That's what I really loved and enjoyed about the festival.
So see, if you do like me and you get white girl wasted, then you get party girl voice.
Yeah.
Now you see why I grew my hair out. I have to be able to fit the part. So, you've heard a lot about Rocklahoma. You've never been there. However, I mean, I've been to this campsite and you party just like any of us. Do you have any experience, or you've been to other party type environments that are anything like this? Where your ideas come from?
So I did have to look up Rocklahoma to see. I've been following them to kind of see what you guys have. I mean, I think that Born and Raised could bring some more costumes because I really enjoy the costumes at Rocklahoma. And I followed the big O bus because they have a big show that they put on, and I didn't know what I was getting into. So I kind of followed like, how do they put on their wet t-shirt contest? Do they have rules? They look like they have a little bit more rules, and no one said anything to us. So we're just going to keep on rocking the way we did last year. But I'm always, out for trying to figure out what makes a camp fun. Last year I wore the jean chaps and they were kind of a big hit. So I thought, oh, well, this year we'll have all the girls that's part of our camp FO wear the chaps. And then I thought, you know what? Why don't I just get a bunch of girls to come over and cut their jeans up and we can all wear them together?
Oh my gosh. On Saturday we wear chaps.
Hey, the people that are going to be the most excited are the guys. I don't know what you're talking about.
No joke.
Yeah.
I'm saying, hey, I'm going deaf, not blind. Thank God. Yeah. I'm still there's still hope. I I just love seeing somebody bring out the wild side of this. I've had a lot of folks that have gone to born and raised, and they have the time of their lives, but the sense that I always get from somebody who's seen the wild side versus the folks just getting out of church and coming in, and it's like, all right, what kind of trouble can we get into? It very much feels like it has a rodeo feel to me. The festival, the attire, girls are always, I don't know what to dress, and guys, I'm like, guys, think rodeo. That's what the festival ground's going to be like. Now, you go out into the campgrounds, and I know a lot of folks are, like you were saying, they're more afraid to get in trouble. They don't know what they can and can't do. The great thing about this genre and this community within this genre is they are amazing stewards of the land. They're so respectful of property, of each other. And I mean, that Southern hospitality, I mean, that's really what it's all about. And as long as you're not pissing off the neighbors, you're fine. So we're like, well, we always do. We go meet the neighbors. Hey, how crazy do you all get? So what can I get away with here? So you guys will find, and more folks will find at Born and Raised, that you guys, I mean, it's going to be like a Daytona tailgate party. I mean, every campsite, whatever you can fit in that 20 by 40, that's, and hook up to a generator, you guys can do. And that's where the possibilities come out. And that first year, I saw the wheels turning at every round at Crystal and gang at Fuck Around and Find Out. They're like, no one is shutting us down. What else can we do?
The party never ended. I think the last night, which last year on Sunday, I can't remember what time. Sunday. I was like, I have to go back to bed early tonight. I have to go to bed by 1 because I have to get up and drive back to Texas. It's a long drive. And then I could just hear the music and the people outside my camper, and I'd keep opening the door. I was like, oh my God, this is major FOMO. I really need to go out there. And I'd look around and see everybody having fun. It was like 4:30. 5 o'clock. I was like, these people are never going to go to bed. How am I going to get home? So every night I felt like we stayed up till 4 or 5 in the morning, took our naps, got up when we heard the sound checks and the music starting, put our clothes on and ran to the shows. It was good. But you need some recovery time when you get home.
I love it. So for any of your fellow born and raised folks that's going to be joining you, this week's festival, I really wanted to come out and hang out and party with y'all, but unfortunately I'm just not going to be able to make it. I might sneak out to the campgrounds one night, but I'm just not going to be able to be out there. So I want to see everybody show up at Fuck Around and Find Out, preferably not at 4 a.m. unless Crystal's out there and says, it's fine, I'll sleep tomorrow. I want to see you all having fun. Is there anything that you learned over the last 3 years of attending Born and Raised that, you know what? This made the festival so much easier for me to endure. It's less of a drag. Do you have any hacks, any tips or tricks for anybody that's coming in this year that are wondering quite what can make their festival that much easier for them?
So you need comfortable shoes, 100%. It is a lot of walking. Normally I would say get the pool. We bought a bigger pool this year it's like 10 foot by 3 foot deep. I don't know if we're going to need it. The weather looks amazing, but we're still bringing it. I know somebody in our campground's also bringing a hot tub. So you got to have something to do during the day to relax. I know. And then make sure you visit your neighbors. Everybody is so friendly. They're willing to help. If you need some water, if you're tired, most people will let you come hang out in their campground and have a drink. That is probably my favorite thing is when people are just wandering around making new friends. I also made sure that I took a picture with all the campground flair. We actually are Troubadour ticket holders, but we choose to stay in the GA camping because of the parties. Sorry, Coyote Crossing, you guys don't throw the party. You don't stay up late enough for us. So we do end up wandering over there to kind of check things out because we want to say hi and visit with everybody. But make sure you check with your campmates and visit and bring some peace offerings. I know people always, I saw that there's a campground that's called Pre-Rolls and Pancakes. So they're offering pre-rolls and pancakes in the morning. You can go over there. I saw people making vodka gummy bears. I saw people making friendship bracelets. So make sure you visit what people advertise, because that means they want you to come over.
Absolutely. And, Crystal and their camp fuck around and find out not only are they on the map, but they're one of the few parties that are on this brand spanking new map that has been made this year. I want to give a huge shout out to Dan Miller of the Born and Raised camp, or the Facebook groups, who basically did what I did several years ago. And he looked around and said, you know what? I see someone made one for Rocklahoma, but no one did one for Born and Raised. We kind of need one. And I saw a few other folks jumping in. So you know what? Let's do it. So we now have a Born and Raised campgrounds map, and it's going to be on the Surviving Rocklahoma website. It'll be available a little bit later tonight. I was almost had it done in time for showtime tonight, but there's been some stuff going on today, so I got delayed. So, but after tonight, you will be able to find a campgrounds map of almost said Rocklahoma, Born and Raised campgrounds at Rockin Red Dirt Ranch. The folks who host Rocklahoma and Born and Raised. They got a new name now, so it's Rockin Red Dirt Ranch. I know Camp Fuck Around and Find Out, and all of the other campers at Born and Raised Music Festival is going to be taking amazing care of those campgrounds that so many of us love and cherish. Hopefully, the people who had it before you weren't jerks and made Adam into a giant liar, and you get up there and what is this? What they do to my camp spot? No. A lot of folks are worried about it, and you guys always do. You guys left it better than we left it. So I want to appreciate, if you would, everybody that you encounter at Born and Raised, make sure they know that the Rocklahoma folks that have these campsites very much appreciate how well they take care of them and how much they cherish them and respect them, because this place, as you've seen, is life-changing for so many. And I am so glad to see folks like you that are taking this ball and run with it and making these campgrounds the after-hours mecca that it is for so many of us rockers. I can't wait to see what you guys do with it going forward.
Well, Adam, you can hopefully have a chance to FaceTime you, give you some FOMO if you aren't able to make it out, but maybe you could sneak in. You might have to. You never know.
Don't threaten me with a good time. I am a ninja. I appear in the most unlikely of places when unexpected. Just hopefully there won't be as many screams this time. So I appreciate you so much for joining me and for your time, Crystal. It's always been a pleasure visiting with you. We've gotten to know each other a lot better over the years. And I'd like to give all my guests the opportunity to address the folks that you're going to be meeting this week. You're going to be hosting this week. Some folks that are going to come around. They're going to fuck around and find out. What are they going to find out?
It's always a surprise every year. You'll just find some badass people, that's for sure.
I mean, what else is there to say than that? I mean, we got a wet t-shirt contest. You guys have got some music. There's all kinds of it's a fun place. And there's so much that I see in Fuck Around and Find Out that Christy and myself did so many years ago when we started Camp Mardi Gras. We're just a chill place. We're not trying to be Las Vegas or Red Light District Amsterdam, although I smoke like it. But we're just a chill place where people can get a little debaucherous and have some safe, adulterated fun with their friends. And remember, guys, police ourselves, stay respectful of everyone, including your camp hosts, the neighbors around you, and men, trust me, do not piss off a Southern woman. You stay respectful because they will lay you out faster than her big linebreaker boyfriend will.
That's when you fuck around and find out, for sure.
I'm saying. Alrighty, Crystal, thank you so much for joining me. I'll go ahead and let you get back. I know you got family and stuff. Thank you so much for being a guest on the show.
Air hugs. Bye.
And that was Crystal of Camp Fuck Around and Find Out. They've been doing their campsite at Born and Raised for several years. They're over in Quail's Nest, right dead center, very close, in the middle of the GA campgrounds. You can't miss them. They're going to have a horseshoe-shaped campsite, and there's going to be a big crowd. They're just genuine people. I absolutely love them. And once again, I want to give a huge thanks to Dan Miller for his hard work on the Born and Raised campgrounds map. I will be getting that complete map up here within the next couple of hours so that it's available for all of you folks who are going to be attending Born and Raised Country Music Festival this week, so you can get that printed out and have that accessible. It'll be part of the Born and Raised Survival Guide. You'll be able to find that on survivingrocklahoma.com. So with that being said, folks, we are going to go ahead and start winding things down. I would have loved to have some music. However, I didn't get around to getting the show put together like I normally would have, given all of the heavy conversations that I've had today. I just wasn't able to get the show put together like I would have normally liked to had it done. What's up, Cat West? Cat West Middleton is in the comments. Huge shout out to her, as she was very much one of the folks that I met this week that had a special near and dear place in my heart, given the hearing loss condition that I'm dealing with at the moment. I met a lot of people that I saw at Rocklahoma 2023 that made this year just as life-changing as memorable as the first year that I went 10 years ago in 2013, including meeting fans that I had no idea watched the show, from a 10-year-old little girl that has just an avid metalhead to some of Cat West's, her best friend, and several other folks who are hearing impaired and enjoy this show each and every week. So it doesn't matter what walk of life you come from. It doesn't matter whether you're a metalhead, whether you're a country music aficionado, if you're just red dirt only and you're not quite old enough to rock the jukebox yet. Music is medicine, folks, and it speaks out to folks in many different ways. And Rockin Red Dirt Ranch has hosted not one but two festivals this month. One, Rocklahoma Born and Raised, is going to be this week. And they have already seen over 60,000 people come through to share in that musical experience of sharing music, sharing friends, sharing amazing performances by amazing artists, and tearing it up until the sun comes up. And Born and Raised is going to continue that legacy as they continue to fill those campgrounds this week. The campgrounds are open. The pre-party kicks off Wednesday night. It's going to roll Thursday, Friday, and Saturday to be closed up. And then everything will be getting packed up, taken away, and it'll be asleep for another year. This podcast will continue to cover both music festivals as well as other festivals in the weeks to come. We're also going to be covering local music, as that's how we fill the remainder of our year, by covering loud, local, and live. country music, rock music, it doesn't matter. If you would like your music featured on Surviving Rocklahoma, shoot me an email, survivingrocklahoma@gmail.com. If you'd like your gigs featured on our podcast or talked about on our podcast or even listed on our concert calendar, throw those gigs as well. Once again, that's survivingrocklahoma@gmail.com. Tell me a little bit about your band. Tell me a little bit about your music. Send me an EPK so we can get a taste of it, and we'll throw it in front of our ravenous audience. Also, folks, it doesn't matter how you're consuming this content. Please be sure to share, like, follow, and subscribe. YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, it doesn't matter. We're also on all of those podcast networks, albeit a little bit behind. We're going to get those caught up this week. Also want to give a huge shout out to my photographer, the best in the business. And if anyone wants to challenge me on it, they can fight me on it. This woman has been by my side the last weekend and has taken that position and grown it beyond just a photographer. She's been a proud partner of this podcast. It's somebody I could not do this show without, and I can honestly say that going forward. I want to give a huge shout out to Rebel Angel of Photography by Angel Lee. Thank you so much for your hard work and your just professionalism that has impressed every artist and every agency that we've come in across. I get nothing but compliments, and that's what we have in this Rocklahoma community, is just a mountain of amazingly talented people. And I am so blessed to be able to find a diamond in the rough and shine that up and put that to work, and for each and every one of you guys to see. With that being said, folks, we're going to go ahead and wind down this show. I want to give a special thank you to all of our sponsors. First up, I want to give a shout out to DEB Concerts, who has rocked the DEB concert stage inside the Roadhouse. That stage is also going to be present at Born and Raised. Also want to give a huge shout out to At Your Service Rentals, who has been supplying you with your own portable restrooms at Rocklahoma and Born and Raised. Now you can get not only your own portable restroom for like $150, but you can also get a swimming pool too to keep you cool throughout that festival, and you get to keep the pool too. Also want to give a huge shout out to Rockin Red, who has been providing the medicine that is music to veterans for several years now. And this year is no different. We gave away over 20 passes to veterans, and we're going to keep doing it as they are now going national, and they could not be more legitimate. And I am so impressed, and I am so proud of Christian, Jason Polk, and all of the other folks behind Rockin Red. Huge shout out to Stigler Printing and Scene Queen Graphics by giving campsites, bands, and others identity. And that's something that you can put a price on. They'll sure do it, but I guarantee you're going to get every penny that you paid for. Also want to give a huge shout out to Prior Liquor for keeping this podcast good and supplied with that cerveza and all the other beverages that makes our liver quiver. And also to the Big Old Bus for keeping the party alive. And this week, I want to give a special shout out to Crystal and my guests from Fuck Around and Find Out, who is getting ready to party like no one else does in those Born and Raised campgrounds. So thank you, everyone, so much for joining the live stream. Join me in one more last drink before we end the live stream. So until we see each other next, folks, once again, please stay on this positive side of life. And as always, rock on.